Hi there, my name is Kronenberg and welcome to my channel. This is a film review of Sherlock Holmes and the Voice of Terror. It's a thriller, came out in 1942, it's a 13 plus, it's an hour and 5 minutes. Amazon is 4.3 out of 5, IMDb is 6.4 out of 10, they're both the same, so I'll read IMDb. When a German saboteur jeeringly predicts the nation's new depredations via their radio Voice of Terror, the Intelligence Inner Council summons Sherlock Holmes to help in their crisis. That's not actually partially true. So the director is John Rawlins, who did Shark River. Producer is Howard Benedict, who did Men Against the Sky. Music was by Frank Skinner, who did Harvey. The cast, as usual, the main ones. We have Basil Rathbone, who was Sherlock Holmes, who was in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, so I have reviewed that one. Nigel Bruce, who was Dr. Watson, was also in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Reginald Denny, who was Sir Evan Barham, was in Madam Satan. Henry Daniel, who was Anthony Lloyd, was in Camille. Thomas Gomez, who was Meade, who was in Key Largo. And Evelyn Ankers, who was Kitty, who was in The Wolfman. It was filmed in Universal Studios in California, USA. It was known as The Voice of Terror and Sherlock Holmes Saves London. And the scene in which a train goes off the tracks early in the film is footage from The Invisible Man. So there you go. I've done a few Sherlock Holmes by now. Well, not now. Obviously, this is my third one of the series that I've got. So bear in mind, there will be more. So the credits start. Well, I didn't watch the Amazon version. There is an Amazon version which you can get, but I've got the DVD, so I don't know if it's any different. Credits start with a similar style as the Baskervilles, as in the credits and the way they move and stuff like that. It's based on the story The Last Bow, or Bow, B-O-W. And I think it's on the trailer, but it starts with a map of Europe, Germany at war, with a radio broadcast from Germany, Voice of Terror, saying to operatives to destroy the airfield, and that kind of stuff, and saying to the public that they're cowering in bed. I think they were cowering in bed anyway, but if the air raid sirens weren't going off. Now, it does say that there's the intelligence in the council, there's the door that tells you that this is them. They're totally top secret, that they have it written on the door. And it says in the IMDb thing that they request for him. Well, not really. One person requested him. The others were like, no, we don't want an outsider. So they didn't request him. So apparently Watson is Blouser. And Sir Evans is Dimples. I'm assuming this is the nicknames at school. Oh, Dimples. So Sherlock's trying to show he's a master of stuff, and he's just said to Sir Evans, he says, you've just come from Sevenoaks. And he went, why, yes, wait, how did you know that? Why, on the side of your boot is a type of clay that's only found there. I mean, come on, really? Everyone knows that. Everyone can just spot a bit of clay and go, well, I know where that comes from. That comes from Sevenoaks. Sevenoaks is in Kent. I know where that comes from. That's from Sevenoaks, or that comes from Berkshire, or that bit of mud you've got is from Glasgow in Scotland. It's obvious, elementary. Anyway, they just left, and Sherlock says outside the door to Watson, it says, in the street will be a girl we've never seen before to drive us around. And Watson's like, what? No, that's just... No, that even you're stretching. Then outside a girl appears, and Watson's like, oh, amazing! Oh my goodness me, this is fantastic! How did you know? And he went, elementary. He went, no, this is impressive. How did you do it? He said, Sir Evans told me before we left. Watson's not happy. He's like, back in the day when you could ring the BBC radio requests, ask for a song, and they play it immediately. Now, I don't know about now, but if you try doing that on some radio stations, I don't think they'll do that. They won't do requests. For me, I'm in my car, I listen to Kerrang radio, because that's got some nice nice metal. It's quite nice. I was driving in the other day and Metallica came on. I thought, oh, Metallica. And then Rammstein was like, oh my goodness me, you don't get this on the radio normally. Now, they're in Limehouse. I don't know much about London at all because I've never been. But I don't know about London as such. I know about some of the places, don't get me wrong. I'm not completely inept, but I don't know much about Limehouse. But like I say, I don't know what it's like now, but in those days it looked like it was all thieves and pickpocketers and crime and criminals running around and stuff like that. Because they walked in there and they were, we don't want you down here, and it was like all thieves and stuff. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's not like that now. Otherwise there'll be police there. I don't know where the police are. A funny thing is though, like I say, I've seen a lot of early films. I've seen all of the Sherlock Holmes, and you get to see the actors doing multiple films, which is cool. Not at the moment because this is like the third one. But later on, when I review some more of the Sherlock Holmes, like Lloyd's in it a bit later on. There's another couple of characters that are in it that you see and think, oh, I'd seen him. He's played about 5 actors or 5 roles. There's the scene in the bar where Holmes tells Kitty her boyfriend's dead. It's pretty intense, especially when she manages to get the pub to find out what a word means. Where she says England is the best team, victory, and all that kind of stuff. It's quite good actually. It's quite resounding, or whatever the word is. Now, this is bizarre. So what is strange, right? And yeah, I know that they're supposed to be invading, as in Germany is supposed to be invading the UK. But the Germans are all in uniform in England. It's just like, yeah, you may not want to be in uniform. I don't know. I mean, I know there was, not saboteurs. The other ones, those people that were for Germany but were British. You know, those ones. I can't remember what the hell they called them. But they didn't wear German uniforms because they would have been shot. I was confused why they didn't just do what they were doing in plain clothes, but apparently not. There's not much that goes on with the film that is not like to talk about as such. But anyway, we find out about a plan of invasion. The council's, found out about it and stuff like this. Done their thing. So they're there looking at the Germans, and they go, I wonder what's been said on the wireless. So they're all tuning in and listening. This is pre the internet, so it's obviously pre social media and pre the news. You know, nowadays it'd be like, oh my god, let's just check Twitter or X or Blue Sky or I know TikTok or any of that shit or the BBC News or whatever, and you'd all log on and instantly find it. But then it was like, just dial into the wireless, find out what's going on. So it's kind of cool. Now it's not my favourite one. I do like some other ones. This just didn't do it for me. There's another one that didn't do it for me. I can't remember what the hell that was. I do know what it is when it comes up. But I'm actually going to give it a 6, even though I didn't really like it, if that makes sense. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed watching and listening to the Sherlock Holmes and the Voice of Terror. Please subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty of other film reviews. Quite a few I say 3 Sherlock Holmes. But there's quite a few now in my playlist of other films that you might find interesting. Okay, well, thank you and goodbye.